You're listening to The Real Fan Review with Hav, Sanj, Al, and B.
What's going on, podcasters and YouTubers? This is Hav here, one of your hosts from The Real Fan Review. Today with me, we got our man in the chair, Al.
How's it going, everybody?
Yes, and we got my brother, B.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got my boy, Sanj.
Good evening, everybody. As always, it's a pleasure to be with you.
Yeah, that's my brother, man, from the 5th floor right there. So, so listen, guys, today on today's show, man, we're going to talk about a lot of things today, man. So much stuff happened this week. You know, movies came out on Blu-ray that we couldn't see in theaters, like Unhinged and New Mutants. Plus, we got some great news this week on comic book movies. We got Wonder Woman 84 coming out on HBO Max. We got some news on Black Panther 2 starting to film, and also Deadpool 3 starting to write. And Mandalorian's episode 4 of season 2. So let's just get right into it. We got a big day for you guys. So let's get into all the good stuff. First and foremost, let's get into that big news from this week. Wonder Woman 84, Sanjay, is coming to HBO Max on Christmas, brother.
Well, didn't they just make me look foolish?
They made us all look dumb, man, because we all said they spent way too much money to put that on HBO Max. Because isn't that free? Well, as long as you have HBO, right?
So, yeah, if you have HBO or if you have like AT&T, their super unlimited plan, like you get HBO Max for free also.
It's crazy, man.
It's super unlimited.
You know, and they're talking like, you know, we still love the theaters.
Yeah,
but you can catch
that. Because it's a dual release, right? Like they're doing it in the theater and streaming.
What's the theater, right? It's been so long, man. Oh God, Brandon.
I mean,
man,
I have a room that I call a theater in the house. Is that what you're talking about?
That's what they're gonna be talking about on Christmas. B-Dog, what's your thoughts, man? Wonder Woman 84. You watching at the house, kid?
Oh hell yeah! Which I'm actually super surprised. You know, we talked about, you know, obviously saying there was no way that was gonna happen because the hype around it. It's DC's biggest thing for the foreseeable future, you know, until Batman comes out, you know, kind of a thing. So it's interesting because like you start thinking about what movies come onto streaming services, and no disrespect, but it's usually the movies that people don't believe so much in, or the studios don't believe in, you know. So yeah. You know, I mean, there's a reason why Disney charged $30 for Mulan, you know. So it's interesting for them to put it on a subscription service, HBO Max, and it not have to be charged a premium. So, Merry Christmas, you know, I'll take it.
But you're not concerned about it being a bad movie, are you?
I'm not concerned about it.
Okay.
I'm just now interested in seeing if Disney has a reply.
Oh, we'll get into that question after we talk to Al first a little bit. Yeah. So Al, man, I mean, what's your thoughts, man? HBO Max, or you can get it in Dolby Cinemas there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a move that we didn't think was going to happen, but I guess they're starting to look out long term, and this may be a new trend that they're going to do, because I was hearing I know we're going to touch on Black Widow, but these movie companies are going to have to come up with a new strategy that prepares for this happening again in the future. God forbid this were to happen again. Are you going to again be on the brink? Yeah. So I think this is just a realization that they have to come up with a strategy, and maybe just throwing their big names out there to really see if it's going to work. You know, you can't throw a smaller name movie out there, or a smaller a movie that was expected to do smaller numbers, and then use that as a gauge. You got to throw a big, one of your big guns out there and say, okay, now how does that do?
Right.
You know, with movie theater release and streaming, you know, which are they going to do? Because like for me, I was tempted to reach out to y'all and say, yo, AMC is renting it out for what, $125?
Right, and let's split it.
Yeah, let's go. You know, so you know, you can see it going either way, and I think this is a toe in the water type move to see. You know, especially if they're going to do changes to the DCEU with the Snyder cut and everything.
Right.
What a way to get, put the DCEU back out there by just throwing it out for the most people to see it again, And then a month or two later, now you got Snyder Cut coming out.
Gotcha, man. And
There's actually
Sanj,
oh,
go for it,
sorry.
Brandon. No, go for it.
To Al, to your point, and you brought this up last week too. We were talking about how the 2021 calendar schedule of movies is now ridiculous with everything coming out every week. And then I think you have to think about it at a certain point. I think, Al, you put it out there, like, with everything coming out, is there going to be like a movie fatigue if the movie theaters were actually open and all these movies are coming out? I feel like there'd be I feel like that's what we say in like February, and then like March and we're like good, and then April, and then like comes like May and you're like, shit, I saw a movie every week, like that's a new movie every week kind of a thing. So like I feel like the theaters are kind of anticipating, what do they get to push in terms of money making? If I push all my big guns out this month because they were supposed to come out, am I going to make that return that I was looking to? If people are so focused on seeing my other big name movie, will they go see all the big name movies? Will they see my smaller movies that we put out, kind of a thing? So I think maybe to kind of combat this possible hectic 2021 movie schedule, they start releasing some movies out on streaming services.
Yeah, I think Sanj would have, if Sanj were the movie theaters, he'd give it The Matrix. Bring it.
I don't listen, man. I don't think you could get tired of new movies coming out, bro. Like that's just not something that could happen. I mean, think about it. We watch movies every week. Even when things were open, right? We were watching movies, like 2-3 movies a week. Like we'd watch the one movie that we were going to talk about, that we were going to review, but we were all watching like 3-4 movies a week just to watch movies, bro. Like even with everything that we got going on. So you're going to tell me with new movies coming out that we haven't seen yet, we're going to get tired? Come on, man. Come on, son. Come on, son. I'm gonna hit you with the Ed Lover. Come on, son.
Yeah, I can see it being like, I don't know about that one. I'll go to this one.
What did you see? No, I'm okay.
But Sasha, I wanted to ask you, man, because out of the four of us, man, you really think out the box when it comes to business and stuff like that. Like, I get the whole strategy of HBO Max trying to bring subscribers on, but they're not even going to charge $1, for this access to this huge movie. And, we know it's going to be pretty good. The chances of it being stupid or like not good are very like slim to none. I just don't see how they're going to make the money back that they spent to make this movie by doing this. I mean, yeah, they're going to have it in some theaters, but what's your thought on them putting it to HBO Max like that?
Well, I kind of understand what HBO is doing. If you look at what people watch HBO for, like when Game of Thrones, like HBO comes out with these really great series, right? And then what's happening is that now cable has changed, the way we consume media has changed. Everyone can do it via an app as opposed to having that cable service or anything like that. So people will wait till a series is over, get the subscription for a month, and binge watch the whole series, in less than a month, or and they'll just keep the subscription for the time that series is on. I know that's what I was doing with HBO for a while when Game of Thrones was still on. We would just have it when Game of Thrones was there, and we'd catch up on everything else while we had the subscription for the 2-3 months that Game of Thrones was on. So HBO's, I see this as a move for them trying to get viewership back, because there's a lot of streaming services out there now that are heavy hitters. Netflix. I mean, Disney did a marvelous thing by putting all those studios together with Marvel, Disney. They got National Geographic. They have so much content that you can really find a lot of stuff by having Disney Plus. You're not running to HBO to get a subscription. They're not really offering anything on a regular basis like that you say, all right, I gotta get this for that. Lovecraft Country was just out. They've got The Undoing right now, but those are niche shows. They're not shows or content for a wide audience. Like, say, they don't have a signature series right now that everyone is watching like that worldwide.
Gotcha.
So I understand what they're doing. So if they're able to offer a studio a deal to get a big movie like Wonder Woman, and they can show the studio that, hey, we can bring in the viewership, more studios start putting movies to HBO Max, and then they start getting a regular viewership, because then we'll be sitting here thinking, oh, what's going to come out on HBO this month or this week or whatever.
Right.
It's something to draw people in and keep them on the hook, as opposed to, all right, we're just gonna, get it for a month, watch the show, and then cancel it. To me, it's a way for them to now start getting more steady business out of it.
Yeah,
So
and build a
it's
subscriber
it's worth the
base.
shot,
I
because
got
if I felt that they were coming out with a big movie like that, if I could rely on one of those movies or two of those movies a month, I might be inclined to pay a $6 or $7 subscription fee to just say have access to those movies, because I know I'm gonna get a steady couple blockbusters every month.
Yeah, man, gotcha, man. And Al, man, you're my resident conspiracy theorist like myself. Is this play by HBO Max now going to press the hands of the mouse to release the Black Widow?
It may, because again, I think that this is just a sign of, like, some companies, a lot of companies, I should say, COVID really just rushed their schedules along. Things that, projects, plans that they had that they thought they were going to be able to do over the next couple of years, they're doing now, because of how much people have learned that they can rely on and will have to rely on the internet for. So you're seeing a lot of businesses that used to rely on physical presence now going online. So I think these movie companies are saying, what happened, again, in preparation for not having the theaters again, let's get people hooked on our streaming services. So to your point about HBO Max, this is, I think, a move to say, let's get these subscribers hooked. Let's get them in for December, because I think if there's a free trial for HBO, I got HBO Max. I don't know. I got it with my cable bundle. So, but if there was a free period, I guarantee you it's going to be gone. And if you want to see Wonder Woman on Christmas Day, you're going to have to pay for that month of HBO Max.
And all the fellas agree.
Oh yeah. And
the free trial ends on December 24th.
There you go. And then how many people forget to cancel it? Yeah. And how many people forget about it? And then all the people that would have signed up to see Wonder Woman are also going to want to see Snyder Cut. So now you got them for January, you got them for February, March. So now just by releasing Wonder Woman, you got people, all these millions of viewers now signed up for months. And now you can boast that to your, stock investors and everybody and say, look how many millions of subscribers we got over the last 3 months. So Disney, I think, will want to do the same thing. They've been doing well with their subscriber base, but if you can throw out another big movie like Black Widow, get people on board for that, and then in the next couple months, then in January we got WandaVision, and then after that you're gonna get Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then you're gonna get all those other shows. So what better way to get people hooked now and keep them on board, saying, well, you might as well stay because we got all these movies, other shows coming out, all these other movies coming up. Come on for this big name movie. And even if you take the hit as a loss leader, you know what? We're not going to make the money we thought on these movies, but we will in the long term through these subscriber counts, because they're just there taking in all the viewerships anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
The thing with like Disney, if you look at their content that they have right now, they have current relevant content for everybody, regardless of who you are and what you're into. For one of the other things I'm watching on Disney Plus is The Right Stuff. I mean, we talked about it a couple episodes ago, and that's a new series that's not necessarily relevant for the times, but it's new. It's a fresh look on something from the past that is interesting to me and interesting to some other people. But they have so much stuff. I mean, they even have, the Gordon Ramsay show where he's traveling the world and exploring cuisine throughout the world. So I mean, they have so much variety of content there that it's becoming increasingly hard for other streaming services to compete with them. So that's where I see like HBO trying to do this play for it. Because remember, for a while HBO was the place to go for cutting edge content, and then it's no longer HBO.
Just them now, yeah.
Right, exactly. So they're trying to get back into that.
Yeah, man. And then B Dog, you get the hardest question of them all, B.
Oh gosh. Oh
Here we
boy.
go, B. Christmas Day, Brandon. You only got 2 hours. Your choices are Pixar Soul, and you love Pixar.
I
And
do.
then you got Wonder Woman 84. Which one are you watching Christmas night, Brandon?
I'm watching them all. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't care what your plans are. I'm gonna put them both
Brandon's
on.
like, I ain't got kids. Y'all got kids. Brandon's like, I ain't got to
I'm
answer to
doing both.
nobody.
All right. So here's how I'm gonna do it though. I'm gonna start with Soul, right? Because I want to get the heartfelt out of the way, right? Get all that good stuff, good time. We're gonna love it. I might even stop at your house. We'll watch it together with the family, and then I'm gonna go home and watch Wonder Woman because I need some kick ass to go to sleep to.
No doubt, man. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's right.
And yo, to see to do the battles, don't leave Amazon out. I don't know if you guys caught it, but they finalized their deal for Coming to America.
Oh,
So Coming to America was also supposed to be released
Come out Christmas,
next
yeah.
month.
Wait. Tell us a little bit more about this deal, Al.
Yeah, they found so Coming to America and what was the other movie Amazon? Oh, the Borat 2 movie.
right.
They solidified those two for like 125 million. And they got Borat 2 and they got Coming to America 2. And they just finalized the deal for Coming to America, and that's set to release now March 5th.
Oh, they
Uh,
moved it from December.
Yeah, so it was supposed to be theatrically released in December. But now
Okay.
with this, they're releasing it on Amazon March 5th.
Wow. All right.
So
Well, we look
Amazon,
forward to
so,
it.
yeah, so Amazon's
Yeah,
getting into
man.
the mix too now.
I
Yeah,
kind of feel like that's gonna end up getting moved up to like December. I feel like it's gonna be one of those surprise things where it's just like, you know what else is coming on Christmas? Bah! Coming to America too.
Nobody's sleeping on
Indie
Christmas night.
face! Indie face!
What are you gonna watch?
Oh my
Get
goodness.
McDowell's on that
I
night.
cannot wait to review that movie. I cannot
man.
wait. for
No,
Coming
you know
to
what I'm
America.
waiting for? I'm waiting for the what was the things we did before the movies came out? The preps.
Yes,
Yeah.
the prep. Oh man,
Yeah,
we
we
haven't
could
done
come
it
in America.
for so long.
I was like,
I
what the
know.
fuck is the prep?
Listen, on the podcast, that's what people are downloading, man. All the preps, man.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah.
We're doing preps, Brandon.
To sit down and talk about stuff like you're an expert on it, would then watch the movie, come back, wrong.
Hilarious, man. And then the other big news this week, fellas, Deadpool 3 is finally in development, man. Yes. It's been way too long, man. They needed to come out with a Deadpool 3 already. But it is finally being written, or I think it's the writers from Bob's Burgers. They're helping write this story along with, of course, Ryan Reynolds and his team to bring Deadpool 3 to the MCU. And surprise, surprise, people, it will stay rated R.
Yes.
Ow, Deadpool made you damn near piss your pants laughing, man.
Oh, kid,
Ooh, right up Main Street.
I can't wait for this movie, man. I love that kind of sense of humor, the way they did that movie. It was great. Ryan Reynolds was made to be Deadpool, so that was a great casting move. Funny, he cast himself because he's the one who pitched the whole Deadpool premise.
Hey, he's the one who
to
leaked the original trailer, right?
Yeah, that was him. He made that
Yeah,
whole
he
thing
leaked
with
that.
the car scene and everything. Yeah. So I can't wait. I just want to see how they actually incorporate him now into MCU, because this is going to be. I think this is him. They're not changing their 1 and 2, but 3 is going to be him in the MCU.
Right.
From what I
So
heard.
then that means the X-Men are in the MCU.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I want to see, and I'm gonna want to see it just for that. Like, how are you bringing everything into the MCU?
You know, it'd be funny if Marvel just did that. Where they're just like, all right, yeah, the X-Men are here, the mutants are here, yeah, whatever, and they're just like, yeah, we're just gonna move forward now. Like,
Get over
but
there.
and we're like, but how? Like, dude, they're here. Like, come on, like, move on. Like, yeah.
Sarge, they'll just, just watch the movie.
I know, right?
Brandon, man, what's your thoughts on that Deadpool 3, man, finally getting started?
I mean, it's about time, like you said. And I think honestly, like I am a huge fan of Bob's Burgers. If anybody watches Bob Burgers or Archer, those are two
Yes.
Oh, Arch.
hilarious animated series who star the same exact people, basically. Um, and if that is the team that is writing this, it is going to be hilarious. Absolutely ridiculous. My one thing is I wonder what like, exactly you're saying, how the heck does this go into the MCU, knowing what we do know because of Deadpool 1 and 2, what I feel they're gonna do is that, because Deadpool already is so kind of cheesy and campy,
Uh-huh.
I think they're gonna pull like this whole like bring Cable back kind of a thing, but like throw Deadpool in some kind of wormhole that brings him to our MCU kind of a thing. And he's like, well, what the hell am I doing here? Kind of a not
A
like,
little
and then it kind of goes
multiverse
from there.
madness, Brandon. A little
Yeah,
multiverse madness.
Doctor Strange. So I feel like that's how it's gonna be, like some kind of campy Deadpool style. Him ending up in MCU, because like the way with everything, I don't feel like he's just gonna by the way, like this is the MCU. Let's like you said, the X-Men are here. They have a mansion, and here's the Juggernaut, bitch. Like,
With Deadpool, I can see them doing some dumb nonsense where they're actually like in Iger's office when he just signs the contract, goes, man, I'm in there. It'd be hilarious, man. Sanjay, man, your thoughts on Ryan Reynolds finally getting in MCU for real, for real?
But I'm a little bit disappointed that it's coming this late because I would have loved to see Deadpool across from Tony Stark, and see how that interaction, like that is an interaction that I would have loved to watch.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to settle for Deadpool across from Doctor Strange, which is not bad. It's not bad, but it's not Deadpool v Tony Stark. You
Right.
know, so but I'm excited for it because I mean it's tying the MCU up together and getting us closer to having full on mutants involved in the MCU. So I'm excited for it. This is great news.
Yeah, yeah. No more enhanced individuals on the
Right.
on the battlefield. All right, Cap. You know, man. But listen, once we get more news on when that's gonna come out and more stuff on who's in it and everything, we'll definitely talk about it on the podcast. And the last bit of news we're going to talk about is actually something I wasn't expecting to hear about, but they actually said that Black Panther 2, it will still be in the works come July. But the main reports coming out of it right now is that they're trying to expand Shuri's role, and they still haven't decided whether or not they're going to recast or just kind of like work a story in where T'Challa actually passes in the movie, and we give our final respects to that character. So I'm not sure exactly what they're doing just yet, but the rumor is Shuri will have a bigger role. B Dog, I know you're kind of big into the comic books with the, pretty much all the comics. What's your thoughts on Shuri possibly becoming the Black Panther like she is in the comics?
I think it's gonna happen. I think that's gonna be the way they spin it. Is that she becomes Black Panther. I think what they're gonna do is, I feel like they're not gonna want to make it like awkward as a transition, because that would be the worst way to do it for her. I think maybe the movie might start with like the passing of T'Challa and them kind of acknowledging it, and then where do we go from there? And I think she takes the mantle, and I think that'd be incredible, for her to take the role. I honestly, I kind of agree. Like, I don't know if I want them to recast, T'Challa. They said that they weren't gonna CGI him into the movie, which I was happy about. So I think it's time she takes the mantle. I think this is how they do it right.
Yeah, and Sanj, for yourself, man, are you more or less happy, or at least okay with the idea of Shuri taking over as the Black Panther rather than doing like a recast or something like that?
I'm very happy with Shuri getting an expanded role, but I'm not necessarily ready for her to take over the mantle of Black Panther right now. We
Right.
talked about this before. I feel that there is more T'Challa's story to tell, and this is not I mean, not to sound callous or anything like that, but this is not the first time an important actor has passed away in the middle of a series of movies where the character is very important, if not a main character, like he is.
Right.
And the character has been recast. For example, they did it with Dumbledore in Harry Potter,
Right.
and the actor who picked up the mantle did phenomenally with it. I feel that there is a lot more of T'Challa's story to tell, and I would be more. happy with them recasting and picking the right actor to carry on the mantle of T'Challa, and then continue T'Challa's story, bring it to a completion, and
Yeah.
then have Shuri take over as the Black Panther. And that doesn't have to be 8 movies away. That can be a movie or 2 away. I'm not ready. I'm not ready for T'Challa's story to be over in the next movie.
Gotcha.
That's just how I feel about it. I feel like there is like a movie or 2 left of telling T'Challa's story that we could, and there are tons and tons of talent, so many talented actors that we know of, that we may, and some that we may not know of just yet,
Yeah.
that could take up that role and really do it well, and complete the story.
So
Yeah,
my thing.
Oh, go for it,
Oh,
B.
so,
No,
so
go.
my thing is like an interesting take on Black Panther. You know, the first movie with. If you know a lot about Black Panther, is he doesn't have a huge rogues gallery kind of a thing. He essentially really only has maybe 4 big villains, and 3 of them all being in the Black Panther, the first movie. So for me, I actually felt like the first movie, in a weird way, Sanj, kind of did his story, because I feel like Marvel did the thing where they put his story not so much in just his movie, but put it in Civil War. It
Yeah.
started that. So I feel like Black Panther was for him to kind of avenge and learn from and grow from his father's passing, to accept being the king of Wakanda. And then from the ending there, it kind of seemed like all of his issues were resolved. Now, like you said, there's plenty of stories to tell, especially if they go to like the King's route, where they bring in Namor as the villain
Yes.
of Black
That's what I was
Panther
hoping
2.
for.
If they do that, I mean, that's a great way of continuing the arc of, how do you continue being the king kind of a thing. But I kind of feel like Marvel, it might be looking at this like, well, we did kind of give him resolution at the end of the first one. And then they had the 5-year gap. So in between, even with Infinity War and Endgame, he kind of was already king of Wakanda. He led his people into battle and they came back. So I feel like Marvel might look at the whole thing and say, he's got his resolution. I think we're good with moving on, kind of a thing.
So now for you though, is that enough T'Challa's story for you?
To be honest, like I would love to see more T'Challa. I think, if they bring in another Black Panther, like I'm not against them having another Black Panther. I just think maybe they shouldn't have resolved the first movie the way they did. Maybe to lead it like I have more to do, and maybe give a little like nudge as to where there could be an issue coming in the future. I just think they maybe gave it a little bit too perfect of a resolution.
They tied that bow up.
Yeah, they tied the bow really well at the end of Black Panther, the first one. So as much as we want the second one, I felt like it was kind of hard to introduce a then issue when they were kind of so clear about it, definitive, I would say. But I would love to see more Black Panther. I just feel like I think Disney or Marvel might look at it like, I think we're good on that end and might move forward with something else. Because now you have, if Shuri takes over, it's I'm in my brother's shadow now. How do I take over when I wasn't groomed to be royalty or the Black Panther? So I can see where they might go that way. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, that's what I would like to see for the second then. I mean, given that unfortunately Chadwick Boseman has passed, recast, pay respect to the actor and the role that he built up, and don't just have the character die off screen. Bring in somebody, like to Sanjay's point, there's a lot of great actors out there that you can bring in. They did it already in the MCU alone when they recast. Now it was for different reasons, but they changed the character of Rhodey. They brought in they brought in Don Cheadle, and he did a great job, like to the point where we forgot what's his name. So
what's his name?
Terrence Howard.
Terrence Howard. Listen, I didn't like him. I didn't like him as Rhodey anyway.
What's going on with the money, man?
But I didn't like him as Rhodey anyway. So I like the job that Don Cheadle did. I think he did a lot more for the character than Terrence Howard would have done anyway. But to my point, like they've done it already in the MCU. They've recast a character. They've done it twice actually. Now, when you think about Ed Norton to Mark Ruffalo. But if you bring in a good actor, pay homage. I don't know, through a scene, a dedication, or something.
He looks in the mirror.
To Chadwick, to Chadwick, make reference to the fact that yes, we know we recast, but do it in a respectful way. You can have someone else take over the role of Black Panther and T'Challa for the sequel, and somewhere in the story have it be that he's grooming Shuri. He's training her because she was nowhere prepared combatively or anyway to take over the mantle at the end of
She was
Black
the
Panther.
Iron Man tech genius over there. Yeah.
But in battle she couldn't handle herself.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So have her be groomed, trained to fight, and built up in that way, and then maybe have whether it be a battle with Namor and something where T'Challa's character then dies at the end. And you have that touching scene where you see him actually literally passing on the mantle to her, and then she takes over at the end of 2, and then 3 can be her and her development story as Black Panther. So
remember,
I hope you're listening, Feige.
I know, right? Because to get the mantle of the Black Panther, you can be challenged. You have to win a battle on your own accord. You can't win a battle with technology. You can't win a battle with the power of the Black Panther. You have to be a warrior.
The power of the Black Panther has been taken away.
Right. You've got to win that battle. You've got to be a warrior of your own accord. And a fighter of your own accord. So that's what I'm saying. I agree with Al to say it'd be difficult for her to just take up the mantle like that, because then anybody can come along and challenge her and they're gonna throw her off the damn cliff.
Yeah, man. So
that brings up a funny thing for me. Like, if you think about it, like, imagine Terrence Howard still played a War Machine. And, like, imagine him getting the script for Civil War and be like, I get shot down. Like, Terrence Howard don't get shot down.
He's like, I'm Lucius Lyon. I mean, Terrence Howard, I don't get shot.
I don't get shot down.
Oh, my God.
Throw the script in Feige's face. Like, I don't get shot down.
Nuts, man. Mind you, he was the star for Iron Man, right? He got more than Robert Downey for that.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Crazy. Yeah, man. But listen, guys, that's the news for this past week. As you can hear, we spent a damn half hour on this. That's how crazy this news was this week. So, if you guys have any,
we've had in the last few weeks.
If you guys have any comments regarding, Wonder Woman 84, Black Panther 2, or Deadpool 3, leave us a comment below on the YouTube page, or if you're listening on the podcast, you can email us at therealfanreview@gmail.com, or go to our webpage, therealfanreview.com. Let us know what your thoughts about those 3 movies and what's going to happen with them. We would love to read them out loud. So if you send something, we'll definitely read them on the next podcast there. Then the next thing we're going to go into, fellas, is we had a good week of movies coming out, man. Redbox and Video on Demand put out Unhinged, The New Mutants, and a couple of other things out there. I got a chance to watch Unhinged and New Mutants, and I think a couple of you guys got to watch New Mutants, and I think Sanj got to see Unhinged.
I did.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, awesome, man. So let's go right into Unhinged real quick, Sanj, there, because Unhinged I thought was... it was a pretty okay movie there. So, I mean, I guess without completely spoiling the movie, what did you think of how Russell Crowe portrayed there a crazy person?
I thought he did a little
edge.
I think he did it a little too well, a little too easily. I don't want to meet Russell Crowe anymore. You know what I
mean? What he got away with to do in that movie?
Well, yeah, that was the thing. Like, okay, so after he did the first thing in the diner, right, with the guy, you would think that, okay, that would be it, because the police would be on their way. But no, it went on for another 50 minutes, of movie time, which is like an eternity in real time.
And my man Russell Crowe enjoyed getting into character, because that is not the Gladiator, my brother.
No, that is not.
Were you not entertained?
Russell Crowe's looking, his body's looking a little soft.
Looking like a donut.
Let's not body shame. Not body shame.
Yeah, bro.
There's a few of us on here that look like donuts, myself included.
I mean, I mean, watching the movie, Sanj, I have to say I was entertained throughout the entire movie. I watched the whole movie straight through, didn't stop it. I didn't think it was killing my my senses to watch it or anything like that. But at the end of the movie, I said to myself, I'm glad I didn't go to theaters to go see this. You know, like it
Yeah,
was good, but
yeah.
I didn't feel like, damn, I should have went to the theaters to see this. You know what I
And you
mean?
know what? It was only 90 minutes too, so it wasn't too much of it. But I feel like some of it was a little over the top when you consider what he did and how it was done. That it kept going. Like any one of the things that he did, you could be like, okay, well that could have been a culmination of it. But then there was like so many of them,
Right.
these over the top things that he did.
Especially at the end of
Oh my God, yeah,
Jesus. I was like, did he just
yeah, he just did that.
dude, he went in this movie, guy. So listen, Al,
You know
Brandon,
what
when
it
you
was? You know
watch,
what it was almost like? I'm sorry, Hop.
go,
It
no,
was
go.
almost like there was elements of screen, not screen. Oh, oh, not Scream. The movies with
Saw.
Saw. Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, Al knows. Yeah, it was almost like elements of Saw, except like nobody's hiding doing it. He's like in your face doing it. Like, nah, I'm about to do this to you. You ain't
Dude,
have a
it was
choice. You can't get out of this. But this is. It was like the way some of the things happened. You know?
yeah, it was pretty
Mm.
intense and surprisingly very brutal.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I couldn't believe how brutal the movie was, especially towards the ending with the dynamic of who was facing who. It was a little brutal, and I'm like, holy shit, they really went for this. But I think they went for the shock factor more than anything. But the story overall itself was it was just a crazy story. You know, again, a
Just the
road rage
staggering
incident.
amount of how many people died
Yeah, it was just
Wow.
nuts.
at his
Wow.
A
by
road
by
rage incident gone
either
crazy.
directly at his hands or because of actions that he took on the road. Like it's incredible how he used the traffic like that to just kill so many people.
Yeah, man. Well, I think we just intrigued Al and Brandon. Though. I think
Yeah.
they're gonna.
Oh
So
yeah.
listen, Sanj, on our scales and your own scales, there, brother. What would you say about this movie for Unhinged?
Well, I'm gonna stick with your scale. It was good, but don't rush out to see it.
Right. Yeah, same for me, man. I wouldn't rush out to go see it. It's something that would waste your time. I'm almost like iffy to say you should see it rather than you don't need to rush to see it kind of
I
thing.
would, you
But
know what? I would put it on my watch list,
yeah,
and just like it would sit there for a while until like you got some
When I
time and
get
it's like,
there, I
you know
get
what?
there.
Maybe I'll watch this today because again, it's only 90 minutes.
yeah, it's a quick one. It's a quick little burn there, but it wasn't bad, man. It wasn't too
It's a
bad.
quickie.
Yeah. And now let's go into the New Mutants that also came out this week. I know Brandon and Al got a chance to watch it, man. On your scale of 1 to 5, are you glad you would you have risked COVID for it?
Oh hell no.
The whack mutants, more like it.
Oh,
Yeah.
hot
Oh
take.
man. So I mean, real quick, Al, on the New Mutants there, brother. What was your thoughts when you finally saw it? Because I mean, this is one of the movies we were excited to see, and it was kind of like we got denied to see it because of theaters being closed out here. It wasn't going on video on demand. It kind of ran its course through the theaters for a little bit. Then they finally released it. I think they released it like a month earlier than normal, the 3 months
Yeah.
waiting time. I mean, what was your thoughts after seeing it finally, The New Mutants?
I didn't know what the whole wait was for. Like the movie wasn't. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, considering
Right.
everything we heard about it. But given the fact that this was a movie that they held on to, what, 4 or 5 years, right? This movie was supposed to
Yeah, it
come
was
out like
it was
4 or 5 years
almost 5
ago.
years. Yeah.
Yeah.
For all the work that they could have done to it, should have done to it, it, there was no story development. I didn't feel like attached to any of the character. Any one of them could have died, and I wouldn't have been like, oh damn. Like yeah, there was nothing. There was like, I mean, it just visually it looked well. Like basically,
Yeah.
that's all I
It
could
looked like
really
it came out in
say.
2016.
Yeah, like
Looked like it was supposed to
Yeah.
come out April 9, 2016.
yeah. I'm definitely glad that that I didn't have to go to a theater, risk anything to watch it. That I watched it at my house.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, like when it ended, I was like, "That's it."
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Okay. And
I w-
for like a movie that was supposed to blend genres of horror and comic book, the horror wasn't scary. You know what I
Not at
mean?
all.
Like it was just like, haha. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, come on, dude. I saw that coming like a mile away, dude. Like, which I'm kind of glad there was no jump scares or anything like that. But, you know, it was still supposed to be like a scary movie, and it really didn't come off that way. It just came off across like people stuck in the mansion, you know, like,
Mhm.
okay.
We've seen this movie before.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they left the mansion. Brandon, how about you, man? How did the movie hit you?
I feel like it could have just came out 4 years ago and it would have been fine. Yeah, it looks like it came out. It looks like it came out 4 years ago. The
Mhm.
graphics sucked. You know, the graphics just didn't keep up with where things are now. You
Mhm.
know, this movie looked like it was underfunded. The actors acted like it was underfunded. And I feel bad because like when you take into context how much younger these actors were when they filmed it, it does no justice to their acting capabilities now. You
Right.
know, this was back when Arya Stark was, you know, damn near 16, you know, like, you know, maybe 18 at the time.
Right.
This is when Stranger Things had first came out, so you're looking at these young actors who aren't that young right now, but they were young then, and they were so new to the business that like you could like kind of give it like a pass on their acting ability because they were so new to it. But now you're like, oh, like I know you're a good actor now, like you
What is
know,
this?
like come on, I just watched your Netflix show yesterday, it was so good, like you know, story was meh, like I
Yeah.
see what they were going for, but you can also see in this movie how they edited it because this was it for X-Men. You know, you can
Yeah.
see where they took certain scenes out or even the ending of the movie just to satisfy, yeah, there's no more X-Men, so why would I give you a little tease for what's to come next?
Yeah,
You
Yeah.
nothing.
know? And because of
Yeah.
that, I feel like it made the story a little blech, little blech.
Yeah.
And it would
Yeah.
have helped. It would have helped Logan too if they had released this, because the whole thing with the taking of the blood, it would have explained better for Logan, like how they, like why were they taking the blood samples? We saw the scenes of the
And you saw the scene
facility.
that was straight from Logan.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So like they should have just released this back in 2016,
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
the whole
however it
thing with
was.
this was I feel like when this movie came out, the plan to end X-Men wasn't really out there, and I feel
Right.
like they were trying to do like a 3 movie buildup of a villain that just didn't come to fruition.
Yeah, man. Absolutely, man. And so let's get that final rating on the New Mutants there. I mean, you can hear us talking about it, so it's not gonna be great. Al, what's your thoughts as far as a rating for the New Mutants?
You don't have to watch it.
Wow, you
Oh
don't have
wow.
to watch it.
It's been a
Jesus.
Yeah,
long
because,
time since we gave something a
Yeah.
don't even watch it. Like
I
you ain't
haven't
even
heard
gotta
that in a
watch it.
while.
Wow.
yeah.
Brandon, your rating for the New Mutants.
I agree.
Oh, Jesus.
Ooh,
It's a
Brutal.
movie that's
Brutal.
just not fitting for the time.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
and you know what's crazy?
I
We're not haters. We're not haters.
No,
No,
Like
not at
we're
all.
like, you know
no.
man.
what? You still go see it. It's whatever. You know, it's a movie. You're gonna watch it. You know, enjoy it. Whatever.
I,
Yeah,
you know,
we're not haters like that.
I'll be the optimist of the group here, man. I'll say that you don't have to rush to see it. I mean, I
Uh,
get where the guys are coming from as far as the story. It's not going to really go anywhere because Fox sold all their, you know, their stuff there to Disney, so it's done. So you're really watching the movie just to see if it's good, and it's not that great. So I
Mm-mm.
mean, if you're just interested in seeing more mutant stuff, and you know, you want to hear a reference of X-Men, go for it. You know, but it's I'll tell you this: these two movies, Unhinged and The New Mutants, I'm kind of glad that all four of us didn't rush to the theaters to go see. It really wasn't worth the time or even the chance of getting out there in the middle of this pandemic to go see. So I'm glad the four of us didn't make an effort to go see these movies. So it just solidifies us doing the right thing. Yeah, man. So listen, those are the two movie reviews for this week. Let's, you know, if you guys got a chance to watch it in the theaters or you saw it on, you know, home on the video on demand, or you saw it at home, let us know what you thought of those two movies, Unhinged and The New Mutants. Then we're gonna get into our. It's not a movie, but it's still movie news. As Sanj says.
What the fuck is this?
So, guys, we got a chance to watch episode 4, season 2 of The Mandalorian.
Da-dum.
Siege. The Siege. Wow. Listen, if you're listening to the podcast, you know we're going to go into spoilers on this because you can't talk about these little one episodes here without ruining it. So we're going to get into spoilers. Come back to us if you haven't seen the episode just yet, or if you're still interested in seeing it, come back, pause us. We'll be here talking about it right now. Oh, man. So let me just get this out the way. Was that the start of Snoke?
I think that's the idea of where he comes from.
Yeah.
So does that mean Baby Yoda dies?
I don't think so.
I was just saying, I don't know what they're doing
Or
with
are they
this.
making Snoke from Baby Yoda?
Well, that's what they're doing.
Is Baby
but,
Yoda Snoke?
yeah.
Oh, deep.
Or is Snoke Baby Yoda?
Oh.
Oh.
Am I Baby Yoda?
I just find it very interesting, man, because, you know, they get back into the whole program of cloning, and there's VATS in the background. So, I mean, kind of jumping all over the place here, but, you know, basically the point of this episode was they were going to go to a base that one of the last remaining not rebel bases. What is
Empire.
it? The Empire bases that was on this planet where Carl Weathers and Gina Carlo, Carollo, something like that.
Hello?
Well, she plays the marshal in the in the episode, and they go back to that planet where they left, where they had last, you know, fought the Grand Moff and also the rest of that.
Moff Gideon.
Moff Gideon. Why do I call him Grand Moff?
I don't know.
He's not. I should just call
He's
him
your
Grand Moff.
abuela.
But
Yeah, abuela
Moff
of the
Gideon
Empire.
apparently still on this planet, and apparently they thought they were just going to take over this base, and it happens to be a lab. It's a science facility there to try to get more of the midichlorians. I think they were trying to hint at, because they said the M count, but I think they're trying to hint at the midichlorians there for the, you know, the Jedi, the thing that shows you, or not shows you, but increases your power with the Force. And I just thought that the whole episode was cool before we even got to that point, and it just made it even more interesting. Sanj, what was your thoughts on the episode? Anything that stood out for you, or anything that was pretty crazy?
Well, I mean, what stood out for me is that it was not the episode I thought we were going to get this week, because remember last week, Bo-Katan told him to go find Ahsoka Tano, right? So I'm like, okay, great. So that's what we're going to do now. You know, like that's where we're going. But apparently that's not where we're going, because they couldn't make it that far without getting some repairs and stuff like that. Should have seen that one coming.
Crap ship.
But yeah, right. But then, you know, you go back, and I thought it was really cool how the planet where Carl Weathers' character was, how they had transformed it, you know, and it's vibrant and alive, and like they have a school and everything. So it was nice to see that going on. To see that development there. And then they go to the base. You know, of course, they have a mission for him. Oh, we need your help. Every week is like, oh, but okay, we'll do this for you, but we need your help. You know, he's like a freaking mercenary throughout the galaxy, you know?
Yeah.
And then, you know, they're surprised at what they find in the base. So it reveals a lot of things to us. So, yeah, seeing the VATS, seeing what looks like it could be a clone body of Snoke there, and the little drops, like Al was saying, like the M counts and stuff like that. So that was a little surprising, to add a little bit more to the stew of what's coming up for the rest of the season, you know, and to see where we're going with it.
Yeah, and Brandon, how about for you, man? Anything stood out for you in the episode there?
It just got my head kind of turning, because, you know, a bit of the book lore, like the I guess what they call now, like the extended universe stories or whatever from the books, is they actually delved into, like, I don't think they were called like the Dark Troopers or something like that, but it was a new cloned batch of troopers who were stronger. Some were a little bit more formidable in the Force, kind of a thing. So it kind of seemed like this was the route they were going, to making a new sort of trooper to kind of reestablish the Empire. And I think this is how it kind of leads to Snoke in the future. And it kind of started getting my wheels turning because, you know, I kind of see like this is going to be the big thing about this season is now maybe going to cloning. You know, you
Right.
have Ahsoka Tano, who was in the Clone Wars. You know, she fought with the clones before they turned in, you know, Order 66. You now have Boba Fett, who essentially was a fixed clone. In essence, he didn't get the aging gene, so he can age like a regular person who may or may not be in there as of episode 1. You know, we don't know for sure if that's Boba Fett. It's hinted strongly, but we don't know. You know, so now we have these guys, these possible dark troopers or clones, whatever they may be. So it seems like I'm very interested in seeing where the cloning thing starts to go this season, if this is going to be a big turn. I feel like this is going to be like the focus of this season, and then the next season is going to be like the whole Moff Gideon with the Darksaber versus the Mandalorian. I think we're going to get that, but I think like our focus here is the cloning aspect of the season.
Gotcha, man. And then Al, man, I mean, as far as this show is going, man, it just seems like it's just getting more and more interesting. One of the things that I do love about this show is that it pretty much takes folklore of Star Wars history, old books that are not part of the I guess like almost like the MCU has their story. They're taking stories from outside of the Star Wars universe that are Star Wars and making it like relevant and canon into the story. And I think it's just so cool. Like Brandon was saying, those Dark Troopers, they're from like a video game. You know what I mean? And then some of the other stuff is from these older books that haven't been part of the canon that they're putting into these stories. I mean, how are you taking all this stuff into the episodes and what you're seeing on there, Al?
I just like that they're showing what everybody was afraid of, that there is a lot of stuff, a lot of meat to this, you know, Star Wars universe, that you don't have to rely like on the original, you know, 3, the Luke, Leia, and Han, and that there's so much more that they can delve into. There's so much more story that they can delve into. But I'm just afraid of what's going to happen to Baby Yoda, because you know, because when Force Awakens comes, which is I think 30 years from this or 25 years from this, where is he? You know, because he was obviously he's nowhere in the story. Or is this going to retcon that trilogy and now make a new story? Like, what are they doing with this? What direction are they going?
Just throw that trilogy out.
Yeah, you know, they can really basically use Mandalorian to reset everything. You know, they're going to touch on some of the story. Obviously, they've introduced cloning, they've introduced the Dark Troopers and so forth. So I'm just excited to see where they can go, because they are using every opportunity and every story, like avenue that they can go, and they're doing it, but they're not rushing into it, and that's what I like. Like you said, we thought we were getting Ahsoka Tano this episode, and we didn't. So they're taking their time, they're introducing every aspect of the story, like, and they're thinking it out, and they're not just doing something to do it. And it goes with the way they do the episodes. An episode is 38 minutes, the next one could be 45, 50. Yeah. It's whatever they need to tell the story. So I like that they're doing that even with the episodes themselves. They're including what they need to tell the overall arcing story that they're looking to tell. And it's just making me interested to see where that arc is going.
Yeah, man. I gotta tell you guys, I love this series, The Mandalorian. I mean, I complained a little bit about the episodes being like somewhat formulatic, like it's just the same thing all the time. You know, he finds people, he has to help somebody, he has to take down somebody, and then he moves on to the next planet. But I gotta say, man, there's stuff about the show that I absolutely love, which is like just like stuff that makes it feel like, yo, this is home. You know, hearing the TIE fighters, just the sound.
That was like a cross between a starship and a Wookiee.
That's a double wing, W wing right there.
So they were in the I forgot the type of spaceship they were in, trying to leave the facility before it blew up. But she heard the TIE fighters and knew they were coming because everyone knows the TIE fighter sound. You know what I mean? It's just crazy. And like even when they shoot their blasters, it's that home sound of Star Wars. Pew, 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 pew.
And the fact that the clone soldiers, that the stormtroopers never hit anything.
Dude, they're the worst. Why do they even bother? This it's just insane. And does that guy fall into a trap every episode?
Basically.
He's always like, dude, dude, you just literally have to pick up the kitten and bring him back home. And it ends up in a war.
No, but the comedic relief for this episode was good. The character that they bring along with for the ride or for the trip.
That's Horatio Sands, man.
Oh, kid, he had me cracking up. Like when they were in the firefight and everybody's fighting, he pops up like 4 or 5 times before he, like bro, what are you doing?
Try not to get capped.
Oh man. Yeah, but it was a cool I'm telling you, I'm liking the story. I'm liking the way they're going. And they make and Carl Weathers directed this episode.
Yes, he did. That's what I was gonna say now. Yeah, Carl Weathers directed it, man. And
That's
he gave himself a couple of good scenes. I wanted to see the freaking the man's handshake where you grab the forearm of each other. Just that's what
Billy. The CIA has you pushing pencils.
Funny, man. I love it, man. But listen, next week's episode should be the Ahsoka Tano, episode there. It's being directed by the guy who created her, which is Dave Filoni. He's the one he's gonna be directing that next one. So I'm sure they're gonna be like, this is your baby, here you go. So direct it, you make it the way it's supposed to look. So let's see how it goes. And it should be a good one, man. So I mean, look, we took a long time talking about all these different things. So we're gonna end the podcast on this one right there, which is, again, always an amazing time talking to my fellas here about these movies and these different things that we saw this week. And listen, be a part of the podcast. Call us. No, well, don't call us. You don't have our phone numbers.
Some of you do.
Oh, some of you do. Yes, some of our fans, our friends and fans do. But send an email or write us something on the comment section about, whether it's the Mandalorian, Unhinged, New Mutants, or any of the news topics we talked about, and we'll be able to respond to you guys back and let you guys know what we think about what you're saying also. So listen, coming from Long Island, New York, we thank you and we appreciate you listening to the podcast. If you are not subscriber, subscribe, hit that little button right there. If you're listening on a podcast, hit that little plus and have us, just automatically download it on that phone or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. So again, this is the Real Fan Review. We got my brother B.
Adios.
We got my boy Sanj.
Good night, everybody, and we want to take a moment to wish everybody a happy and healthy Thanksgiving. All the best to your families, and please continue to be safe.
Absolutely. Our man in the chair, Al.
Have a good night, everybody.
Yes, and myself, Hav, man. I thank you. Come back, and we'll check you guys out next time, and we'll have more stories and fun on the next podcast. Till next time.